Bigfoot murders. It was the next morning. Danny, Paige, Jassi, Tygar, and Oreo continued onward, hiking into the mountains. In the morning light, the mountains didn't look scary anymore. In fact, they were beautiful.
How's everyone doing? You want to take a break for a while?
Everyone nodded. They stopped and put their gear down. Paige poured some water into a cup for Oreo.
How far have we gone so far?
Danny cross-referenced their map with a step counter.
We're making real good time. According to my calculations, we'll probably make it by nightfall.
Excellent.
Nearby, Tygar reached into his pocket and took out a baggie. Inside was the strange flower he had found at the abduction site. Meanwhile, Paige checked her phone, but she had no bars.
No service?
Yeah, I figured we wouldn't get any. Too bad. I wanted to check in with Maguire.
No slack, fool. Bet he's lying up in a nice, cozy bed, smoking a fatty.
No doubt.
Jassi noticed that Tygar was staring at the blue flower.
You figure out your flower clue yet?
I have a theory. What if the killer has used a Sasquatch trick in other states?
That would make sense from a profile standpoint. He could be operating in any region of the country that has a history of such encounters.
Which means he's probably wearing the same disguise wherever he goes.
Bet. I'm thinking that maybe this flower got embedded in the killer's outfit on his last hunt. Then it fell off when he abducted Emily.
Interesting.
Suddenly, Oreo's ears perked up. He looked off into the woods. He started getting excited, sensing something.
What is it, O-Dog?
Just then, Danny heard something too.
Did you hear that?
I don't hear anything.
Shh. Listen carefully.
The Misfits got very quiet and listened. Faintly, they started to hear a strange sound. It wasn't a growl, more like a deep-throated, guttural chant.
What is that?
It almost sounds like your Mongolian throat singing music.
Jassi nodded. It did sound like that.
What are the odds of another Mongolian music fan being out here?
No one had an answer for that. Jassi turned towards the direction the sound was coming from. She took a deep breath, then started singing, Mongolian throat style.
I didn't know you could do that. Girl!
Jassi shrugged. Everyone waited and listened. After a few moments, they heard a distant reply, like a callback. The sound started to grow fainter now.
It's moving away from us.
Let's follow it.
As Jassi continued to make calls, they quickly grabbed their gear and started following the guttural singing sounds. They went a little further, then the calls stopped.
Shoot, I don't hear it anymore.
Try again.
Jassi did another cry, but there was no response. Then suddenly, they heard a clicking sound close by. It sounded like two rocks being hit together. It was coming from just beyond a small hill. Oreo barked loudly. Danny, Tygar, Paige, and Jassi readied their weapons. They slowly made their way over to the small hill. As they came over the hill and looked around, they didn't see anything there. Just an empty clearing.
Huh. Nothing.
Whatever it was, it's gone now.
Danny took a step, but he slipped and fell to the ground.
Ah! Hijo de la gran punta!
You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just bang my knee a little.
He started to get up, but suddenly, he noticed something.
Yo, what's that?
Danny stared at a bush just up ahead. There was a piece of torn pink fabric hanging off a thorny branch. Danny removed the fabric and examined it.
What is it?
It looks like a piece of torn clothing.
Danny handed the piece of fabric to Paige.
Wool. From a sweater.
You know, Emily had a pink sweater on in the photo on the flyers her dad was posting.
It could be hers then.
Then we're on the right trail.
Good looking out, man.
Yep. I guess you could say we really needed that clue, huh?
The Misfits headed out, but as they walked away, unseen by them, just below the bush where they found the piece of sweater was a large Sasquatch footprint. The Misfits moved on, hiking through the spectacular mountain range. The rugged trail took them very deep into the forest. As they hiked along, the sky grew cloudy. A storm was coming in. Finally, the Misfits stopped to rest in a clearing near a steep hillside. While the others grabbed a quick snack and drink of water, Danny looked off at the storm clouds in the distance. He saw a streak of lightning shoot across the sky.
This storm is coming our way, and it looks nasty.
We better get moving soon then.
How close are we, Danny? Think we can make it there before the storm hits?
Danny tilted his hand up and down. He wasn't sure.
Perhaps we should make camp here then.
But we're so close. I think we should just push on.
I don't know. If that storm hits and we caught out in the open, it could get ugly real quick.
This is actually a great spot to make camp. If we plant our tents against the hillside, we'll have a wall to our backs, and I can set up our sensors in front so nothing can sneak up on us during the night.
The others considered this and nodded.
All right, let's do it.
The Misfits went to work, setting up their camp for the night. Jassi and Paige built a fire. They all joined together to pull up a big tent. Danny set up motion-sensitive cameras and heat sensors all along the perimeter of the clearing. Meanwhile, the other Misfits set up a warning string looped around trees that ran along the perimeter. Danny tied the string around a stick that he put inside the tent. Near the edge of the camp, Tygar set up a bear trap that he bought at Walmart. Finally, the Misfits stood back and surveyed their fortified encampment.
Looking pretty fucking fire if I do say so myself.
A short time later, the sun was about to set. The Misfits were cooking hot dogs and eating s'mores around the campfire while listening to chill music. Paige walked by carrying an empty water bottle.
Hey guys, I'm going down to the creek to get us some more water to boil.
Sounds good.
Paige walked away with Oreo at her side. Moments later, Paige stepped through the trees and arrived at a small stream. Oreo took a seat on the bank. Paige bent down and started filling her water bottle in the stream. The water felt cool and clean on her hand. She dipped her other hand in and splashed some water on her face to refresh herself. Paige wiped her face off and looked down in the water. As the ripples dissipated, a reflection came into view. Paige saw a huge Sasquatch staring back at her from across the stream. Paige jumped backward, startled. Paige was so shocked that she instinctively covered her face with her hands and only caught a glimpse of it. Oreo growled protectively in front of her. A much deeper growl answered him. Oreo's tail went between his legs, but he stood his ground, not backing down. Paige looked up. The Sasquatch was suddenly gone. The nearby bushes were trembling in its wake. Paige jumped to her feet and started running. She was in panic mode, dodging trees with Oreo at her side. She tripped and fell to the ground. She heard a noise behind her. She leaped to her feet and kept running. Paige leaped over Tygar's bear trap and hopped over the tripwires. She stumbled into camp. Everyone looked up at her.
I saw it! Sasquatch!
Just then, they heard a growl from the woods.
Mother trucker.
The Misfits scrambled for the weapons. They spread out in a line in front of their camp, weapons ready. Stomping and thrashing could be heard in the woods around them, but they didn't see anything. After a few moments, the sound stopped. The Misfits looked at each other.
Shit.
Just then, they heard a clap of thunder overhead. Heavy rain started to fall.
I think it's gone now. We better take cover.
The Misfits retreated into their tent and zipped up the flap. A short time later, night had fallen. The Misfits were very anxious. They were crammed together inside the tent. Tygar peeked out the tent flap, scanning the area with a pair of night vision goggles. Meanwhile, Danny was watching all the motion-activated cameras and heat sensors using an app on his phone. He was also keeping an eye on the wood stick that was tied to all the strings, watching it carefully to see if it moved. Next to him, Jassi was compulsively wiping her hands with a tissue. Paige was holding her shotgun, with her other arm wrapped around Oreo. Danny was looking at the cameras on his app, but nothing appeared on them.
I don't think it's going to attack. Remember when Yonda and Philip sat back at the museum? They're gentle creatures. They aren't killers. They just want to maintain the balance of nature.
Suddenly, Jassi got up. She was hyperventilating.
Open the tent. I have to get some air.
You shouldn't go out there.
Jassi ignored him. She scrambled out of the tent and stood for a moment in the rain, bent over with her hands on her knees, taking deep breaths.
Jassi, you alright? Jassi?
Jassi didn't respond. She began to cry. Oreo came out of the tent and tried to comfort her. He licked her face, but Jassi couldn't shake off her swirling emotions. Just then, inside the tent, Danny noticed a heat signature appearing on a monitor. Something very large was coming towards them.
Ah, shit, that mofo's coming.
See? Get back inside.
Jassi looked up at Tygar. Her hands were trembling.
I don't think I can go back in there.
Suddenly, she heard a growl coming from the woods. A rock flew out of the darkness and hit a nearby tree.
Jassi, please!
Jassi fought her emotions. She took several deep breaths.
Distract yourself. Think happy thoughts.
Jassi concentrated, trying to shake off her OCD, but it had too big a hold of her. In the tent, Danny watched in horror as the large heat signature moved closer. Near the tent, they heard grunts and saw branches of trees moving.
It's almost here.
Just then, Jassi started to mumble something. At first, nobody could make it out. Then they realized she was doing Mongolian throat singing to settle her mind. Just then, something in the dark let out a roar.
Hurry, Jassi!
Using all her willpower, Jassi closed her eyes and wrapped her arms around Oreo. He started leading her back towards the tent.
That's an O-Dog. Help her!
With Oreo's help, Jassi was able to return to the tent and crawl back inside. Paige threw her arms around her.
Oh, thank God.
I'm okay.
Tygar kept the flap open a crack so he could see out. Danny flipped through the various shots on the motion-sensitive cameras.
Damn, this is like a fucked up real-life version of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Except we don't get extra lives.
Jassi suddenly saw something hairy flash by one of the cameras.
There it is! I saw it!
Suddenly a rock flew out of the darkness and hit one of the cameras, knocking it out of commission.
It just took camera 1 out.
They watched in horror as more rocks flew out of the darkness, taking out each camera, one by one.
Shit, there they all go.
Tygar scanned the area with his night vision goggles. He caught a small glimpse of the Sasquatch moving around in the forest.
It's out by the perimeter. Somewhere.
Danny turned to the stick that had all the strings tied around it. He stared at it, looking for even the slightest bit of movement. Just then, one of the strings moved slightly. Tygar peered in that direction, but he didn't see anything. Danny continued to watch the string. It moved again slightly.
He's testing the strings.
Suddenly, all the strings were yanked with incredible force. The stick flew out of the tent,
Look out! Duck!
barely missing Tygar's head. One of the motion-activated strobe lights went off. The light blasted the Squatch in the eyes, blinding it for a moment. The Squatch covered its face and let out a huge roar. It stomped down on the strobe light, crushing it.
Shit! I think we pissed it off.
Tygar zipped up the flap and grabbed his cattle prod. They huddled together with their weapons ready. Outside the tent, the Sasquatch marched forward. Inside the tent, the Misfits heard the Sasquatch's heavy footsteps and breathing. They whipped their weapons around, unsure which direction it was coming from. It almost sounded like the creature was circling them. Trying to follow the sound, Paige stuck the barrel of her shotgun right in Tygar's face.
Out! You'll blow my freaking head off.
My bad.
Just then, There was a huge lightning strike. The whole sky lit up. For an instant, the silhouette of the Sasquatch was visible right behind Danny.
There!
Before they had time to react, the Sasquatch ripped the top of the tent right off. The Sasquatch towered over them, baring its teeth.
Back off, pendejo.
Danny unloaded his can of bear spray into the Sasquatch's face. The Squatch let out an ear-splitting roar and clutched its eyes. Started to thrash around blindly. It got tangled up in the tent and yanked it down. The Misfits tumbled out of the demolished tent. Paige's shotgun was knocked out of her hand. It flew into the bushes.
Run!
The Misfits took off running. They could hear the Sasquatch somewhere behind them. Racing through the woods in the storm and darkness, they were quickly separated from one another. Paige and Oreo peered through the darkness as they ran along. Up ahead, they spotted several large structures looming through the trees. They ran past a sign that was illuminated briefly in a flash of lightning. It said, Red Creek Claim, no trespassing. They had arrived at the defunct mining camp. Paige ran up to the nearest building. The door was locked with an old, rusty padlock. Paige yanked on it, but it wouldn't give.
Damn it!
Just then, she heard a roar coming from the woods. Paige spotted a large rock on the ground. She picked it up and smashed the old padlock with the stone. Paige and Oreo dashed inside. Once inside the building, Paige grabbed the table and shoved it against the door, barricading it shut. She took cover underneath some rusty mining equipment and pulled Oreo close. They waited there, holding their breath. Meanwhile, nearby, the window of another building was smashed in by a fist, protected by a jacket wrapped around it. A hand reached inside and unlatched the door. Danny rushed inside and slammed the door behind himself. He waited for a moment, listening. He didn't hear anything. Danny crouched down below the broken window. He slowly lifted his head up and peered into the main yard of the mining facility. The main yard was empty.
No signs of Mr. Squatch. That's good.
Danny took a flashlight out of his pocket and shined it around the room. It was covered with dust and cobwebs. He shined his light on the ground and saw footprints in the dust, leading deeper into the building. Danny started to follow the footprints. Meanwhile, across the mining camp, Tygar stumbled out of the woods and ran up to a building. He tried the front door, but it was so rotten that it crumbled after he gave it a good kick. Tygar entered the dark room cautiously. He scanned the area with his night vision goggles. The room was full of decaying machines. Tygar noticed a modern lantern sitting on a table. He made a curious face. What was that doing here? Tygar picked it up and turned it on. He looked around the creepy room.
Jassi? Paige? Danny? Anyone?
There was no response. Tygar was about to move on when suddenly he heard a faint, muffled voice. Tygar looked around, trying to pinpoint where it was coming from. It seemed to be coming from beneath him. Tygar looked down and saw a trap door at his feet. An iron bar was pulled through a latch, locking it. Tygar put his ear to the trap door. The muffled voice could be heard for a moment, then stopped. Tygar slid the metal bar out of the way and opened the trap door. He shined his light into the darkness and saw a wooden ladder. Tygar started to climb down. Meanwhile, across the camp, Paige was huddled with Oreo underneath the table. Suddenly, Oreo made a whimpering sound. Paige listened. Heavy footsteps could be heard approaching from outside. Through the dirty windows above her hiding place, the shadow of a hulking figure could be seen, headed towards the front door. Paige reached into her pocket and pulled out a small bottle of pepper spray to defend herself. The hulking figure hovered near the door. Then it stomped away. Paige breathed a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, at that moment, on another side of the building, Danny crept along, following the footprints. He rounded a corner, and suddenly, a dark figure stepped out of the shadows. Danny jumped. The beam of his flashlight illuminated a face. It was Jassi.
Oh shit, that's you.
Have you seen the others?
Danny shook his head.
We have to find them.
Danny and Jassi quietly crept into the next room, which looked like an office. Danny shined his light around. The beam illuminated something strange. Hanging on the wall were personal items and clothing. A sweater, a sock, a pair of glasses, a photographer's camera. They were all hanging neatly in rows, as if they were being displayed. All the items looked like they were 30 years old. Next to the personal items was a bulletin board. Newspaper clippings were pinned to it, all of them concerned the Bigfoot murders from the 90s. An idea popped into Danny's head.
Yo, this might be a stretch, but I think this is the place where the killer likes to chill.
Jassi nodded grimly.
It's a trophy room.
Just then, Danny saw something. A curious expression washed across his face.
What's that doing here?
Danny directed Jassi's attention to an object sitting on a desk. She recognized it immediately. It was a copy of Agent Duncan's book. Jassi picked up Duncan's book and flipped through the pages. A look of horror and stunned realization exploded across her face. Meanwhile, in another part of the building, Tygar had reached the bottom of the ladder. He shined his lantern around. It looked like he was in an old mining shaft. Tygar's lantern illuminated something hairy in front of him. Tygar jumped back, thinking it was the Sasquatch. But then he saw what it really was. It was a Sasquatch costume, hanging on a hook. Tygar examined it. He noticed that several distinct blue flowers were embedded in the costume's fur. They were the same type that he had found at Emily's abduction site.
I was right.
Then Tygar noticed something else. It was a pair of extra-large clippers. They were a medical device that coroners used to cut the heads off of corpses. However, these ones had been modified with a set of metal teeth to imitate Sasquatch jaws.
So that's how you make the Bigfoot wounds.
Just then, Tygar heard a muffled whimpering sound nearby. Tygar shined his light around. The beam lit up Emily Carter. Her mouth was gagged. She was tied up by ropes to a piece of machinery.
Emily Carter!
The terrified girl nodded frantically. But just then, Tygar heard another muffled voice. Next to Emily was another person. They were also tied up, but they had a hood over their head. Tygar pulled the hood off to reveal Maguire. Meanwhile, on another part of the building, Paige was still huddled under the table with Oreo. It was quiet outside, but then something started pushing against the door, moving her makeshift barricade aside. Paige clutched Oreo as footsteps came towards her. Oreo growled. Then suddenly, a familiar voice called out.
Hello? Paige? Are you in here?
Paige poked her head out. Agent Akerman was standing there.
Bill?
Thank God I found you. Are you okay?
Paige crawled out from underneath the table. Oreo recognized Agent Akerman and went over to him, wagging his tail.
What are you doing here?
I came looking for you idiots.
Is Maguire with you?
No? Isn't he with you?
We sent him back to the motel to raise the alarm if we didn't come back.
Paige looked concerned. So did Bill.
I never saw him. Agent Duncan sent me back to the hotel to check in on you guys. When I couldn't find you, I went inside your room and found your map with this place circled. Why are you hiding in here?
We were attacked by a Sasquatch.
Big Bill looked shocked, but skeptical.
I'm serious. I'm not making this shit up.
I believe you. Take a deep breath and tell me what happened.
We were camping, and then the storm hit, and then that thing attacked us. We ran away, but I don't know where Tygar, Danny, and Jassi ended up. We have to find them.
We will, don't worry. Come on, let's take a look around. They gotta be around here somewhere.
Suddenly, they heard a click. Big Bill and Paige turned around and saw Jassi and Danny standing a few feet away. Danny had his machete at the ready. Jassi had her gun pointed at Bill.
Jassi! Danny!
Thank God.
Step away from him, Paige.
What are you doing, Jassi? Put the gun down, it's me.
Bill took a step towards Jassi. Danny raised his machete.
Don't come any closer. We ain't playing.
Bill looked totally confused. So was Paige.
Have you lost your minds?
You told me to trust my instincts. I'm taking your advice.
Jassi, stop. Please. We need to find the guys. There's a monster loose out there.
No, the real monster is standing right in front of us.
What the hell are you talking about?
Danny held up his copy of Agent Duncan's book that they had found in the office. He handed it to Paige.
This is yours, bro. Agent Duncan wrote a personal inscription to you on this title page.
Paige turned to the title page. Sure enough, there was an inscription on the first page that read, "To my mentor and friend, Agent Bill Akerman, thank you."
Look inside, Paige.
Paige flipped through the book. There were angry, demented words written on every page, saying things like, "Stupid bitch, wrong again. A real hunter would have gotten you." There was also obscene and demonic-looking drawings. Many of the pages had been torn out and defaced.
Oh my god.
Bill looked confused and concerned. He gestured at the book.
That's not my copy of Isabel's book. Somebody wrote that inscription to implicate me, and I think I know who it is.
But Paige, Danny, and Jassi looked unnerved. Paige stepped away from Bill. Jassi kept her gun trained on him.
Guys, listen. You're getting this all wrong. Jassi, think. I don't fit your profile.
Middle-aged man, highly intelligent, could have law enforcement training, wears a mask.
Bill made a face.
Jassi, I would never hurt any one of you. Look in my eyes. I'm telling you the truth. Put the gun down.
Yassi's hand was trembling. She wasn't sure what to do.
Do you want to know who I think is really behind this? It's...
But just then, suddenly, Bill was hit over the head from behind by a billy club. Bill dropped to the floor and lay there, not moving, knocked unconscious. Jassi, Danny, and Paige looked up in shock as Sheriff Moorehouse stepped out of the shadows behind Bill.
Sheriff Moorehouse? What are you doing here?
I came up here looking for y'all. Thank God I did. Looks like I got here just in time. I overheard what you were saying. Agent Akerman's the killer. I can't believe it.
I can hardly believe it, too.
Jassi lowered her gun. Danny put down his machete. Sheriff Moorehouse quickly patted Bill down. He found his service revolver and tucked it into his jacket pocket.
But wait, how did you know we were up here?
I ran into Maguire hitchhiking back to town from the Widow's Meadow parking lot. He told me the whole story.
Maguire spilled the tea? Wow, just like that?
Yep. Come on, guys. Help me pull Agent Akerman to the pipe over there. I'm gonna cuff him up to it. Then I'll call in some backup and get y'all back to town.
Paige took a step forward, but suddenly, Oreo started barking and growling at Sheriff Moorehouse.
Oreo, stop that. He's our friend.
Oreo ignored her and continued snarling and barking at the sheriff.
Get that dog under control. Give me your gun, Jassi.
Jassi started to hand her revolver to the sheriff, but Paige suddenly grabbed her arm, stopping her.
Wait,
Paige gestured at Oreo.
something's wrong.
This is nuts. Give me that damn gun. Now.
Sheriff Moorehouse stepped forward towards Jassi to grab her revolver, but suddenly the door on the other side of the room flew open. Maguire was there. Standing next to him was Tygar. Emily Carter had her arm around his shoulder. Everyone's eyes went wide at the sight of Maguire and Emily.
Jassi, don't! It's the sheriff! He kidnapped me! He's the killer!
Before Jassi could react, Sheriff Moorehouse suddenly leaped forward and grabbed her gun. He twisted it out of her hand. Danny swung at him with the machete, but the sheriff ducked. The machete missed him and stuck in the wall. Sheriff Moorehouse raised his gun and tried to shoot Danny, but Tygar grabbed his arm, diverting the shot at the last moment. Tygar and Sheriff Moorehouse wrestled for control of the gun. Danny jumped in, grabbing the sheriff's arm. Oreo bit the sheriff's leg. Together, Danny and Tygar managed to knock the gun out of Sheriff Moorehouse's hand. It fell on the ground. Paige rushed forward and kicked it away under a piece of machinery. Maguire rushed forward and got into a kung fu pose.
Hold him still! Yakuza death kick!
Maguire did a big leaping roundhouse kick and kicked Tygar in the chest. Tygar doubled over.
Oops, my bad.
The sheriff grabbed Danny and slammed him into the floor. Oya ran in front of Paige, Jassi, and Emily, protecting them. Maguire got into a martial arts stance in front of the sheriff. He motioned for him to come forward.
Ooh, you want a piece of me? Bring it, Donkey Kong.
Sheriff Moorehouse almost looked amused. He calmly reached into his pocket and pulled out Bill's service revolver.
Oh shit!
Just then, Paige sprayed Sheriff Moorehouse in the face with her bottle of pepper spray.
Ow!
The sheriff howled and clutched his eyes. He went down on one knee, blinded, but he still had his gun. The sheriff fired a couple of wild shots. One just missed Maguire. Tygar yelled out,
Get out of here! Run!
Everyone raced out of the room, heading deeper into the building. After they were gone, Sheriff Moorehouse rose to his feet and groped around until he found a sink. He turned the rusty faucet on and washed his eyes out. His eyes were badly swollen, but he could see again. He went over to the door and shoved a large rusty machine over it. It smashed into the door, blocking it. He called out,
Go ahead, run. But FYI, there's not a lot of exits to this building.
Sheriff Moorehouse ran after them. But after he left, Bill stirred on the floor. He let out a groan and rubbed the back of his head.
Son of a bitch.
Bill rose slowly to his feet. He was disoriented and in a lot of pain, but he heard running footsteps and voices. With great effort, Bill staggered off, following the sounds. Meanwhile, on the other side of the building, the Misfits ran around the back rooms looking for an exit, but they didn't see any doors. The windows were all covered with metal bars.
Shit, we're trapped!
Just then, Danny spotted a ramp that led downward into the mines below.
Down here, come on.
Everyone headed down into the tunnels. Meanwhile, in another part of the building, Sheriff Moorehouse entered the room with the trap door. He peered down the trap door and then climbed down the ladder. Once he was inside the tunnels, he came across the area where Emily Carter and Maguire had been tied up. Sheriff Moorehouse's eyes drifted down to the biter, the large clippers that were used in autopsies that he had modified with teeth. A wicked grin spread across his face. Nearby, the Misfits crept through the confusing maze of tunnels, scanning the area with their flashlights.
Stay together, yo. If we get lost down here, we'll never find our way out.
Emily Carter started to cry. Tygar patted Emily on the back, trying to reassure her.
Don't worry, we'll get you out of here. I promise.
There's gotta be a fucking exit around here somewhere.
All of a sudden, Sheriff Moorehouse appeared in a nearby tunnel.
Look out!
Bullets pinged off the cavern walls, but he just missed them. Everyone scrambled away, but in their panic, they scattered and were separated. Sheriff Moorehouse began to taunt them. His voice echoed through the tunnels.
Little piggies! Come out, wherever you are!
The tunnels quickly became a dark, disorienting maze to the Misfits. Sheriff Moorehouse knew the tunnels very well. He tried to get the drop on the Misfits, moving one step ahead of them. He occasionally got close enough to get a shot off, but they still managed to elude him. Big Bill stumbled through the tunnels, looking for the Misfits and the sheriff. He tripped over a rock and fell to the ground.
Son of a bitch.
Bill picked himself up and kept going. At that moment, near the entrance of the mine, Jassi was by herself. She was shaking with fear.
Oh my god.
Walking through the winding tunnels was triggering her OCD. She was getting dizzy and disoriented. She was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Suddenly, up ahead, she saw a flash of light. As she moved closer, she saw the mine entrance looming before her. Lightning flashed through the sky, briefly illuminating the courtyard of the mining facility. Jassi looked relieved. She started heading towards the exit, but just as she was about to reach the courtyard, the sheriff suddenly crept out of the shadows behind her. He quietly opened the jaws of his gigantic clippers and extended them silently towards Jassi's neck. He He was about to chomp down on her throat when suddenly, Big Bill staggered out of a tunnel and saw them. He cried out,
Jassi, look out!
Jassi turned around. She saw the sheriff and screamed. Moorehouse tried to clamp down on her neck, but at the last minute, Jassi managed to dodge out of the way, but she stumbled and fell to the ground. Sheriff Moorehouse stepped over her.
Please don't.
I'm sorry it had to be this way. I actually admire you kids' analytic skills. It makes the game a whole lot more fun.
Sheriff Moorehouse opened the Clipper's jaws wide. But just then, Jassi's eyes went wide too. She saw a huge hulking figure looming behind the sheriff. Just then, Sheriff Moorehouse heard a deep growl. He spun around and saw a huge Sasquatch standing there. Before Sheriff Moorehouse could do anything, the Squatch grabbed him and hurled him through the air. Sheriff Moorehouse sailed out of the entrance to the mine and landed on the ground. Down the tunnel, Bill stared at the Sasquatch in disbelief. Just then, the rest of the Misfits and Emily entered the passage. They saw the Sasquatch standing over Jassi.
Fuck me.
Don't move!
Oreo growled at the Sasquatch. But it made a sound that sounded like Mongolian throat singing, and Oreo immediately calmed down. The Sasquatch looked back down at Jassi.
Please don't hurt me.
The Sasquatch tilted its head from side to side, considering Jassi for a moment. Then the creature stomped away, heading towards the courtyard. The Misfits rushed over to Jassi. Meanwhile, in the courtyard of the mining camp, Sheriff Moorehouse clutched his broken ribs and staggered to his feet. He looked up and saw the Sasquatch was heading straight for him. The sheriff whipped out his gun and tried to shoot, but he was out of bullets.
Damn it!
He tossed the gun aside. He turned and started running for an ATV that he left parked across the main yard. The Sasquatch watched him and let out a cry. Sheriff Moorehouse was almost at his ATV when suddenly another Squatch stepped out of the trees. The Sasquatch grabbed his ATV and hurled it into the woods. The two Sasquatches looked at the sheriff and let out huge roars. Sheriff Moorehouse turned and ran away into the woods. The Sasquatches followed him. At the entrance to the mine, the Misfits, Big Bill, and Emily watched in amazement.
What are they doing?
They're getting rid of the evil that was bringing darkness to their home.
Tygar nodded.
They're restoring balance to the forest.
At that moment in the woods, the sheriff ran in a mad panic through the dark forest, but suddenly he heard the menacing growls of Sasquatches. The sheriff tried to run deeper into the forest, but the Sasquatches seemed to be everywhere. In his panic, the sheriff ran blindly through the forest, but suddenly, the ground beneath him disappeared. He'd run right off a cliff. His broken body lay at the base of the cliff, looking up with empty, lifeless eyes. At the top of the cliff, several Sasquatches gathered and looked down at the sheriff's body. Then they melted back into the woods and were gone. Hours later, the storm had passed. Rays of sunshine lit up the camp in the forest. The FBI and the police had arrived. Emily was being treated by paramedics as her teary-eyed father hugged her in relief.
It was the Squatch that saved us, Dad. I swear.
Nearby, the Misfits were talking to a local TV news crew who had arrived on the scene. Big Bill and Agent Duncan stood at their side, listening.
I don't like to brag, but yes, it was us, the Misfits, who solved this legendary cold case.
However, as the official spokesperson for our group, I want to take a moment to give a huge shout out to our mentor and instructor, Agent Big Bill Akerman, a total badass goat of the FBI. I mean, he literally saved our stupid asses and deserves equal credit for solving this case.
Big Bill shook his head.
It was mostly you guys, but thanks, kid. I appreciate it.
The Misfits all patted Bill on the back and hugged him.
Thanks, Bill.
In spite of himself, Bill looked deeply touched. Agent Duncan wiped a tear away and smiled as the reporters snapped pictures. A short time later, Big Bill walked the mining camp, speaking into a voice memo app on his phone.
Agent Akerman, post-investigation summary report. Based on eyewitness testimony, it appears that Sheriff Moorehouse is definitely the perp behind the Bigfoot murders that claimed the lives of 3 victims.
Agent Polhemus walked past Bill, carrying Sheriff Moorehouse's Bigfoot disguise. He had several of the blue flowers Tygar had identified in his Ziploc baggie.
Sadly, there might be more victims yet to be found in other states.
Big Bill continued, walking through the buildings of the mining camp.
In addition to gratifying his compulsion to kill, Sheriff Moorehouse's goal appears to have been to frustrate and humiliate the Bureau.
He picked up a copy of Duncan's book off the ground and flipped through it, looking deeply disturbed by the fake inscription and the savage comments.
He appears to have a particular obsession with Agent Isabel Duncan, and probably intended her to be his next victim.
Big Bill closed the book and looked out the window at the Misfits hugging each other and fist-pumping.
There's no doubt Sheriff Moorehouse would have succeeded in his scheme if not for the commendable efforts of trainees Marwah, Nwamba, Hueco, Black, and Maguire. All 5 students are recommended for additional training.
Big Bill stepped out of the building. He looked down at the ground and stared at a half-washed away Sasquatch footprint.
Although some witnesses continue to claim that there's an actual Sasquatch that was involved in these events, there is no hard evidence to support this far-fetched claim.
Agent Akerman stared off into the woods with a grateful, odd expression on his rugged face. It was a month later. The Misfits were in the parking lot of Georgia Tech University. The trunk of Paige's car was full of bags. Maguire tossed his suitcase in.
So when we get to Quantico, I'm thinking we should shack up together.
Maguire turned to Danny.
How lit would it be if we rented like a big old creepy fucking mansion and called it the Misfits Manor?
Tygar, Jassi, Paige, and Danny looked at each other. They didn't seem enthused.
Should we tell him?
Tell me what?
Well, we kind of talked about it, and we think it'd be best if we got our own place away from you.
What the fuck? Come on, you can't be serious.
Yes, unfortunately, I just can't handle being in such close proximity to you, Maguire. I'd have to triple my meds.
Yeah, 2 days at the motel with your nasty ass was enough for me.
Dude, you don't even change your underwear. Ever. It's disgusting.
God, you bitches are ice cold.
We're just fucking with you, Maguire.
Yeah, dog.
You know we love you.
I can tolerate you, I suppose.
Maguire got emotional. He threw his arms around them.
Oh, I fucking love you losers.
They climbed into Paige's car. As Danny settled into his seat, he took out a book to read. True Accounts of the Mothman.
You mind if we do a little stop over in North Carolina? There's some interesting shit I want to check out.
Sounds good, Danny boy.
Oreo climbed into the back of the car and took a seat with his ass pressed up against Maguire's face again.
Dudes, I think we need to make a seating adjustment here. I'm literally staring into this mutt's colon.
Paige started the car.
Hello? Is anyone listening to me?
Maguire continued to complain as the car drove away down the highway.
Wow, why is your ass hairy? Ugh. Oh, he gassed me. Oh my, ew, it's in my face.
The end. Stay tuned for the next great story on